experience, you're probably all aware of this by now, but my combat experiences are, when compared to other people, very lackluster. Nonetheless, there's a lot of emotions and deeply impactful memories attached to the places that people operate in. And today I'm going to bring you back to that place that I did most of my missions in Ukraine. This trip back there was back in wintertime, as you can see from the snow, but I also did this a couple months ago for the demining we did, so I was able to visit multiple times. And it's definitely seen better days. It's completely destroyed by artillery and everything at this point. But yeah, a year ago, this was the front line. Beyond this point was a 2-kilometer long gray zone. Special units such as ourselves from both sides would operate and pass by each other, most of the time unknowingly, but sometimes, occasionally, we would actually see them. Anyway, there was mostly just a large amount of artillery, tons of drones, and tank skirmishes going on daily. And again, a lot of artillery, grad, everything that you could think of. The only Russian invader that I saw visually during this entire time were 2 forward observers about 600 meters away, and they ran off at the first sight of us. Some of these experiences you can see on my channel, such as this. I only spent about 3.5 months here at this specific location. My time on the actual front line of Ukraine so far is short. I've only spent about 4 months on the front line. But it was during summertime when we did this stuff. There were people, brothers that I met here who remained some of my closest friends to this day. Some of the soldiers that I would meet here passing through block posts or defending their positions with them, I would train a year later in Trident Defense Initiative, which is really crazy to me, but I've known this for a while. The world is small. So obviously this was the front line, this is where we did most of our actions, but our rear base was about 2 kilometers behind this point, right on the Seversky Donets River. And the mosquitoes were unbearable, like worse than Florida. Most mornings we would wake up to artillery coming in too close for comfort, and then we'd wake up, get a quick breakfast, and then go for a run in full kit, and we'd just wait for a mission. We would do these missions after doing a run or after like exhausting ourselves, just to be used to embracing the suck. And the most usual missions that we would do were QRF actions, quick reaction force actions, unplanned, but if we were lucky, we would have a pre-planned recon mission for the upcoming counteroffensive that we still had no idea was coming. We had no idea until, it happened. But anyway, after the morning, we'd tighten up our gear, and the rest of the day we would watch and listen to the trading of artillery, the missiles shooting up at Russian jets, and the missiles shooting down at friendly positions, and then we'd cross-train on anything we could get our hands on, pretty much everything in the book. I don't know, it was just a really good time for me. I've got some memory issues the last 2 years though. I don't know what it's caused from. This is my first time publicly coming out and saying it, but maybe it's from lead in my water supply in Iraq, maybe it's stress, burn pits, or my TBI. But the point is, the pictures and videos that I took while I was there and my friends took let me relive these times and remind me of everything that went on. Nothing I went through in this area was particularly traumatic, so to come back and do some pull-ups on that pull-up bar and retrace the same steps I ran from artillery on is actually really therapeutic. I don't know why I'm being poetic right now, but I guess that explains the whole YouTuber thing. So anyway, after we got done marking the area as mine, which is why we were down there to go and get rid of these mines, I wanted to actually visit the city of Balaklia, the Russian-held city, when we were there. That was like the front line. That's what we wanted to go and take. And you can already see the difference of output of artillery from both sides. The Ukrainian side is obliterated. Everything's completely destroyed. We would have artillery shells come in on the hour, and then you go to Balaklia on their first freaking line, and there's nothing. There's like one missed artillery shell on one of the buildings, and that's the first building on the road. Like that's the road, that's the area that you're going to want to prep if you're ever going to be attacking Balaklia. That's the city you went down. I was talking to some of my students earlier who were on that operation to take Balaklia, and they passed by this and they said, yeah, they just ran away. The Russians ran away, but we do not have the amount of artillery that we should compared to the Russians. I don't know, this is just the stuff that I saw. I don't know if you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you did. Every time that I visit this area, or maybe some different area that I operated in, like Mykolaiv, I did a video on that months ago, revisiting that front line. Every time I do this, it just brings back old memories. I get to retrace my steps, and it makes the times that I remembered from a year ago a lot more vivid. I can remember the mosquitoes, I can remember the heat and the humidity, and I can remember that river, I can remember passing through this town. There's a lot of small things that you forget along the way, and I'm really, really fortunate to be able to visit a front line that I was in, that I operated in. I did recon. This is something you hear about people doing like back in Vietnam, but I'm able to do that in Ukraine while a war is still going on. I'm very fortunate, and it's all because of the guys who continued on with the fight on the front line. Those guys, especially now with the counteroffensive, with everything going on, a lot of those guys, they're not going to be there to see the end. They're not going to be there to retrace their steps. There's a lot of heroes that you won't ever hear about. Maybe I'll make a video on some of those guys in the future, I've been trying to write it up, but it's kind of difficult, obviously. But so anyway, guys, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you can see that front line. I hope I described it well, and I hope that I brought you back to that place and you can sort of understand, what the front line was like a year ago. Maybe give a little bit more insight and background into the combat videos that you guys have already seen. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace and Slava Ukraini.